Hello and welcome to the Wolfchase Toyota Insider, the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Brightwell. I'm joined by Paul Goebel, men's tennis coach. And we caught up with you earlier, this coach, when you got into the rankings. We did a podcast, which you can go on and look on at gotigersgo.com. But that was probably about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago. Since then, you've gone through this schedule. And we talked about that schedule early on. This is when you're coming off some early success, and you're looking at a 9-8 record, but I'm looking at the schedule and looking just at I believe 10 ranked teams were on your schedule. And when you look at what the selection committee probably looked at, I'm sure you're a little nervous. You're ranked 35th. You think you're good, but a 9-8 record, you never know. But I think when the committee looks at your history and looks at the strength of schedule this year, you were pretty secure, I think, of getting in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, we weren't sure exactly how the selection committee was going to do it this year, if they were going to put some teams that were maybe lower ranked that didn't get to play as much. Some conferences played only conference schedules. But I think, one of my main goals every year is to play a very strong schedule. And this year was no different. As you mentioned, we spoke a few weeks back and we just came off playing, 3 or 4 top 25 teams. And then we continue to keep that going. So your team just has to realize that you're going to play a lot of those good teams and you won't win them all, but it helps the development of each of our players. And then if you're trying to make it in the NCAA tournament, it helps on selection day for sure.
You've been to 7 NCAAs the last 9 seasons, but when you build a schedule like that, I'm sure there's probably some, I want to build a tough schedule, want to get these guys out there. It builds RPI points, builds strength of schedule for your rankings. But I'm sure there's a little bit in the back of your mind sometime. You're like, I don't know if maybe you don't want to build it too tough. You want to be over 500. You want to give yourself a chance.
Yes, that is the trick for sure. For me, I'm not so worried about our overall record. We're trying to, like I say, to keep developing the guys on our team. So we're going to keep scheduling these tough matches. If you have an injury or something does go wrong, then yes, you might end up losing a lot more matches than you were hoping to. But that's part of sports, and that's why you got to have a deep team and have players that can step in if you do have injuries or illness. And I think that's what our guys did very, very well this year.
All right, let's tell us about how the season progressed, how it kind of fit in for you this year, because I know you talk about having to have a deep squad, and we've talked about this a lot with you a lot of times at the end of the season and how you built your program. You do value that doubles, part of the program, because that can get you a lot of points in these meets over the weekends and get you some wins. So tell us a little bit about the individual and the doubles, kind of how it went this year.
Yeah, I think you're right on. We really focus on doubles. I always have. We've had some great doubles teams over the years. It's hard to say where this one ranks this year, but I feel like we had as good a doubles as we've ever had from 1, 2, 3. We were just, everybody had very good, we're very consistent in our doubles point. Sometimes you kind of maybe don't see the energy one match to the next, but I think we did a very good job taking care of that doubles point. I think we had, very good production, different spots of the lineup. I think that the term team really comes to mind this year, because we didn't really just have one player always winning and we're losing into other spots. We really mixed it around, throughout the season. And I think that's what we have to do to be successful, because we maybe don't have a superstar stand out in a certain position. So, but the guys just did great, hanging in there. Athletic department support, the fact that we got to finish this season with all the, safety and protocols we had in place it's really excited to get to this point.
And it's kind of interesting. Your sport, not every sport you have to do it, but you guys will be playing a full NCAA tournament. They did not reduce the amount of teams in this year.
That's right. It's a full 64 field, just as normal. The usual conferences that got the automatic bid for the people that won their conference, that was still given to all those teams. And then the same number of at-large berths that they normally have. So it was good that they kind of followed what they had in the past. It kind of gave us, some focus, understanding what we needed to do, teams we needed to schedule, and then teams that we needed to try to beat during the season.
You've gone to the NCAA quite frequently with this men's tennis program. Does Does it ever get old hearing the name Memphis called when they do the selection
Oh,
show?
no, not at all. Not at all. I tell you, we work hard 365 days a year so that we can enjoy that maybe 5 seconds, but it's all worth it. And, hearing the name called is just the beginning. We, had some great practice since our conference tournament, and we're really, really excited to play this weekend.
Interesting, because I talked to Brooks Monaghan a lot, his women's soccer program, and you kind of look at what your program has done, his program has done, and I see some similarities in the fact that you guys both base it on, I'm gonna build a tough schedule. We're gonna win consistently. He had to play out at Mike Rose for a long time, which was a good home away from home. He's back on campus. You guys have kind of bounced around a little bit. You had the Racket Club for a while. They're working on a Leftwich, but you guys are coaches that, despite some adversity, you guys make it happen and you're very successful. What's the formula to doing that, or is there a formula?
It's hard to put my right on it. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think we've had guys that have come in here and not looked at maybe stuff that they don't have, but have been very grateful for what we do have. And our university and our city has a lot to offer. So I think our guys come here and have a great time. I think they, I tell them up front the teams that we're going to play and how we're going to play all over the nation and against the best teams. And I think that's what good players want to hear, because the good players want to keep improving once they get to college. They're not satisfied with their level. So I think, just the combination of things, but we've been fortunate. The group I had this year has just been super, super fun to coach, and I'm just so, so happy for them.
But before we get back to the NCAA, speaking of facilities, and any update that you can tell us, I'm sure there's stuff going on behind the scenes that's, stuff we can't talk about, but I talked to Laird, and we know there's meetings and stuff, but any update on the Leftwich?
Well, we've been told they're starting this summer, which is exciting. I think they've already done a lot of the prep work, the architect, the drawings, all that, the fundraising, everything is on go. And so we're really excited that they're going to get things going. And it's just going to be even a bigger boost for our program once we get that complete.
Because I live in the university neighborhood, so I'm up and down Southern a lot. So I pass it almost on a daily basis, not multiple times, as I'm sure you do too. And I'm sure you're waiting for the day you drive by and you see some of that demo work starting. Because as soon as you see a building starting to get demoed, either wholly or partially, things are moving then. That's right.
And so we're told that's going to start very, very soon. And yeah, it's going to change the whole entrance to this part of the campus. It's going to be such an impressive facility, and it's going to benefit so many people in the city. It's going to be hosting events for, all levels, all kinds of players. So just going to be really, real positive for this city.
That is into the summer, but I know you're focused on this weekend. So let's talk about playing Georgia Tech. What do you see out of Georgia Tech?
Yeah, Georgia Tech's going to be a great first-round opponent. They're very well tested. Their coach has been there a long time. I really like him and respect them a lot. They're a pretty young team, so I don't think they started the season that great, but I noticed as the season went on, they're playing better and better and better. And they lost 4-3 in their conference championship to Virginia. Virginia's a top 4 team in the country. So I feel like they're coming in playing their best of the season, and that's what you expect this time of year for a lot of teams. So it should be a really good battle.
It sounds like a tough draw. I know the ACC plays very good tennis, but I guess when you get to the NCAA, you don't expect any easy draws, even if you're starting out the tournament.
Yes, there's no easy draws. I think the level, the depth I know in our sport this year was the best it's ever been. Mm-hmm. I think, with the athletes getting this extra year due to COVID. So this year we had a lot of players that is their 5th year. And so a lot of these teams are really, really strong because they added their incoming freshmen and didn't really lose anybody. So there's a lot of really, really high level tennis from a lot of teams this year.
And speaking of high level tennis, I was going through your schedule, looked at the American. You guys had a lot of ranked teams. I know you wrapped up with a couple of the ranked Florida teams. How many teams did you guys end up qualifying for the American?
Yeah, so we ended up with 5.
Wow.
Tulsa and SMU were the first 2 out, and I thought they were going to make it because their rankings were right there on the line. And, we had 7 teams ranked around the top 40 for most of the season. So really, really strong. Central Florida won our conference, and they're a top 10 team. So yeah, I think our conference for men's tennis is doing better than it ever has.
If you get past Georgia Tech, you get the host team. Either you may get the host team. They're going to be the favorite, and they're the 3 seed Tennessee, and Alabama A&M is over there as well.
Yes, Tennessee is definitely the heavy favorite in that match. But yeah, we're not thinking too far ahead for that one because we know Georgia Tech is really, really good. But Tennessee's had a fantastic season. They just won the SEC, beat Florida, who was the number 1 team in the country in the finals of that conference championship. So we're familiar with that. We play fall tournaments there. So we're familiar with the facility. We're excited that we get to play in our home state. We've had several people reaching out that will be coming to the matches this weekend. So we're excited to have some fans and really looking forward to it.
One or two quick other things. In the NCAA tennis tournament, I think we've talked about this before. On the advancement, does it just go by team, or is there any route for individuals to advance or a doubles team if the quote-unquote whole team doesn't get through?
Yeah, so that's a separate tournament they have. It's after the team tournament. So whoever advances from each regional this weekend, then you play the round of 16 at the same site. And then the final 8, final 4 in the championship. And this year, that final site is down in Orlando. And so after that tournament is done, then the individual tournament starts. And they have a singles tournament and a doubles tournament. They made the selections yesterday, and we have a doubles team. Our number 1 doubles team made it into that individual tournament. So the last week of May, we'll have that doubles team go down and play in that.
Well, then between the 2 tournaments, hopefully you got a lot of tennis still to be played.
Yes. And no, the goal is to be playing in May, and that's what we're doing. So we're really excited about it.
All right, Coach, as always, congratulations. I know it's a big accomplishment, never gets old. We'll all be rooting for you and checking you out this weekend.
Great. Thank you so much.
That's Paul Goebel. I'm Jeff Brightwell with the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network.